Come on up. Drooling. Ick. Hey guys. Hey Karen. Good to see ya. Hey Jake. What up? Good to see you guys. Brody's drooling all over my couch. Slightly gross. I don't know. I'll wipe it later. Hi. How are you doing, Karen? How are you feeling? Hey Adam. Good to see ya. Long time no talk. Holly. Hi. Hey everyone. I'm feeling a bit better today. I may look tired. I don't know. There's something about staring at yourself in these Facebook live feeds that points out every imperfection. Embellishes everything you see. I may look tired, I think, but I'm feeling a lot better. Hey Holly. Good evening, Jake. Good evening. Late afternoon, maybe. Hey Deb, welcome. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for really being here for me yesterday. Thanks, Holly. You're wonderful. I want to thank you all for being here for me yesterday. Kind of had a rough day, a little bit of a meltdown. And I got some much needed support and much needed relief from being here and with all of you guys. I really appreciate your kind words, you allowing me to be human, to be vulnerable, allowing me to cry. That was really hard. So I thank you for that. Some new folks. Hi, Brian. Hi, Casey. Prashant. Prashant, I'm not sure what you're saying. If you could reword it, I'll try to understand. So I was thinking about Brene Brown, right? Vulnerability is the way to courage. And this... this idea about being human, or thinking we have to look a certain way and be a certain way. And, life just doesn't work that way. It's not always wonderful. We can look great, right? We could do our makeup, do our hair, get dressed up. We could keep smiling, but sometimes we're really hurting inside. The strong ones, the less strong ones, we all struggle with something. I see Danny joined us. Hey, Danny. Hi, Erin. Good to see you. Oh, I missed seeing your face. I feel you, Hazel. Hazel. I can relate. Honey, come here. Come here. And I lose my train of thought. The idea of being human and allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling and to be who you are. A lot of times in my sobriety, I've ran into challenging times, difficult times. Recovery is incredibly beautiful, and these dogs, I'm sorry. And I know you guys have experienced it and know it, but it's not every day is wonderful. It's just like the human condition. We all go through it at different times, and I've had real challenges in my sobriety. Over 6 years. I'm now in recovery 6 years. And what's really incredible is, I mentioned it yesterday, I didn't pick up drugs or alcohol to cope. I had each and every one of you guys to help me. I had the recovery community, old friends, new friends, right? Everyone was really there for me through it. And in active addiction, I didn't really have that. I was so alone. I was so isolated. And there's this, perception of isolation now. We seem to be isolated, but really, we have people around us. Perception is a interesting thing. This idea, seemingly perfect life, or seemingly happy, or seemingly isolated. We have a strong community. Even like myself, I don't have family here in Rochester. I live with my pups, right? Seemingly isolated, but I'm not. I have such incredible people in my life. I have these feeds with you guys. I have these dogs. And what I sometimes perceive as isolated is really not. It's a trap I kind of fall in sometimes, because we have each other, right? If I, like, the amount of support I got after the feed yesterday, people messaging me, reaching out, checking in on me, was really overwhelming and incredible, and I didn't feel alone. And we're not alone in this. We may be physically isolated, but we're not socially and emotionally isolated. I want to shout out some new folks that joined. Nikki, hey. Caitlin, good to see you. Jennifer, I miss you so much. I miss your face. I hope you're doing well. Love seeing the pictures of your kiddos. Marilyn, hello. Deb, hi. Christine, hello. Meredith, hi. All my wonderful people. See, we're not alone. We have this incredible community and incredible supports. And, dealing with grief and dealing with loss, seeming loss, we are all experiencing a loss of the life we knew, right, our normal. There's some grief around that. Deb, I understand, but there is a quality to the connection that only in person can achieve. Yes? Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a difference when you're in person. I think my point is that we don't have the ability, we don't have the privilege to be in person. So knowing that we're not, seemingly alone in this. We're in it together, and we have a virtual connection. Had this happened, I don't know, 30 years ago, right? We wouldn't even have this. It would be, we're so fortunate, right? We're so fortunate to be able to have what we have today, to have internet access in this virtual community, and be able to take our, programming to the best of our ability online, to call people, to message people. It's a way to stay connected when we don't have the privilege, really, of in-person connection, and we're beings that are made for connection. We're not meant to live in isolation, kind of like dogs, right? We're pack animals in many ways. We could live alone, but it's sometimes it can be something is missing, In active addiction, I always felt like there was something missing. I didn't have those connections. I might have had, in-person interactions, but I couldn't build connections with others. I couldn't relate really to other people unless they were in active addiction like me. And oftentimes we related around how hard life had been, or what we've been through, or whatever it may be. But today, when someone asks me how I'm feeling, a lot of times I'm not as truthful as I could be. But I know that if I told them I'm hurting, they would be there for me. When my friends open up to me and tell me how they're feeling, they know I'm going to be there for them. I'm reliable today, which I wasn't before entering recovery. I really wasn't this way at all. My ideas about life changed. My hopes and dreams changed. I have hopes and dreams, And just, even though some days are real hard, even though we experience a lot of grief and loss and challenges, it's part of living. I can't expect to have a perfect day every single day. I can't expect to be happy and, walking around, walking on air, whatever that song is, walking on sunshine. John, you joined, perfect time. Make fun of me, please. It's just not realistic, right? but I don't have to walk through it alone. I briefly mentioned yesterday about grief, and the hardest time in my sobriety was losing one of my best friends to this disease. And it was the closest I've ever gotten to a return to use, for sure. And it was 2 months before the ROCovery Outreach Center opened. And that center was what got me through it. It was definitely my friends and definitely my community. But in addition to, when I wanted to isolate, and I purposely isolated because I didn't want anyone to tell me we can get through it together, I felt, accountable. I felt like I needed to be there for the center. I needed to be there for ROCovery. And it goes back to purpose. Purpose is this really inner connection to what drives us, to our passion, right? Deb wrote, I'm grateful for the virtual connection. I was acknowledging the biomechanically we're feeling a lack of oxytocin, which is that feeling of connection. Maybe that goes to why everyone feels off. That's really interesting. That's a really good point. I do not know enough about that, but it definitely makes sense, and I've heard that before. Yeah, there's something magical in connection, there's something really magical in the pain. I see Michelle joined. Cheryl, hi. Chris, hey guys, welcome. Glad that you joined me tonight, this evening, late afternoon, whatever you want to call it. Depends on when you get up, probably. And so thinking back to grief and loss, there were a couple of really hard moments. I lost one of my best friends, and then 2 years later, I think it was last year, I lost another really close friend. And that was a really, really hard time for me. And there's something about grief and about loss that just compiles. You experience a loss, and that next loss, you feel the initial loss all over again. And it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel the suffering that comes with it. And it comes and goes. Some days are better than others. Some days I still think about my friends and I still cry. But generally, I look for messages. I know I talked about it a lot before, but this idea of being messengers for one another, and I look for messages for those that have passed on before us. Chris Cope, what is it like to reflect on the immense level of connection achieved at ROCovery now that you have time? Oh, it's incredibly powerful. I still wake up every day to, I don't believe this is my life. I don't believe this is real life. For those that know the story behind ROCovery, we just went on a hike. That was how ROCovery began, but really we were just desperate for connection, and we weren't connecting. We weren't doing the things we needed to do for our recovery, so we decided to go on a hike, and from there this thing that's way bigger than me was kind of formed and transformed. ROCovery has saved my butt. It's been a blessing and a curse, for sure. It's saved my butt when I've been really down. It's saved my butt when I've had challenging times in my recovery, and I wanted to pick up drugs and alcohol to cope, or to not feel, right, to cope with the pain. I felt a sense of accountability to the community, right? And when I say curse, too, is because sometimes this illusion of who I may be is different than just the regular, everyday human that I am. This perception of me as something different. And also myself, my expectation for how I should come across, or the way in which I should interact, or that I should be okay all the time, or that I can't cry, so that's the blessing and a curse piece, but it's definitely pretty incredible to connect. And I do have a lot of time. I've been doing some projects around the house. I'm still freaking painting, you guys. I'm so over it. So very over it. But I'm going to get to gardening. And for those of you who know me, know that I kill every living plant just about that I have. So we'll see how this goes. Andrea, my love. Hi, he joined us. Cindy, Heidi. Hey guys, glad you joined. Good to see you. It's a pretty beautiful day. So yeah, you know what the other thing this extra time allows for is reflection on all the ups and downs of life. Reflection on our experiences, reflection on some of the things we've been neglecting in ourselves and our lives, reflection on losses and experiences. And it's definitely gardens, Jonathan, I swear to God. Gardening. I'm not building a garden. We have a wonderful community garden that we had at ROCovery. We still have, and it has been a sore subject for John, myself, Lindsay. We have to water it every day, and we have a broken hose, and we have to drag the hose from the garage to the front of the building, connect another hose. Everything floods. The stuff dies. People drive over it. The plow killed all the apple trees. It's just been like, oh, no gardens. Andrea, oh God, totally threw me off. Love it. Love you, John. Miss seeing you in person. John and I are on a lot of Zoom calls, but it's definitely different. Karina, hi, my love. Good to see you. Do we have? Yeah, gardening. But so, reflection, sitting in reflection. It's another one of those double-edged swords. Because sitting in reflection when we're alone, right, when we're in a place where maybe you live with someone, maybe you don't, but that perceived isolation, right, it's very easy to hide. So sitting in reflection can go two ways, right? It's very insightful, but it could also lead to some dark places if you're not mindful, if you're not aware, and if you're not talking to other people and reaching out. And it doesn't have to be reaching out for help. You could just call another person, or text another person. But sitting alone with some of that, the depth or some of those heavy reflections can be a dangerous place for anyone, not just those in recovery. So I really do encourage you to do some soul searching, but also stay connected to others, to your friends, to your family. And it doesn't even have to be friends and family. It could be a therapist. It could be there's a free hotline that the government put out that you can talk to a mental health provider. 211 is another resource, and that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. They don't just offer information, but they also provide support, someone you can talk to. There's a lot of resources. We have our outreach and engagement specialists. Some of them you see on the feeds, Lisa, Chelsea. We also have Kara and Eric and Brian. So if you ever need to talk, I'll post that information after the video's over in the comments. Jake, that's awesome about ROCovery kind of keeping you in check. I have to set up things in my life to hold me accountable and set things up that will help prevent me from picking up the drink. And it took surrender to my pride. That's so important for me to do it while my mind is sharp. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's something, my friends keep me accountable. My obligations keep me accountable. But there's something about, I don't know, something even more than that to keep me accountable to. Like ROCovery keeps me accountable. My word keeps me accountable because it now has depth to it. It now has weight to it. So I call it accountability. It's not an original thought. I heard it somewhere and I liked it. But having someone that you can be accountable to, or something, so when you're slacking, or you're going down somewhere where you shouldn't be, in your mind and whatever, someone can call you out on it and can notice it. And my friends definitely can. You guys can. I don't hide things well, if you haven't noticed. You could see it on my face. Sometimes I can, but usually, even if I fake smile, you can see right through it. Yes, so recovery is possible. And I missed reading the comment, but I think it was... said they're reading, where's the comment? I'm scrolling through it. They're reading Brene Brown. Daring Greatly. Danny, that's what I thought. Reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. That is an incredible book. It's an easy read. And Brene is just so inspirational. If you don't have her book, she has a TED Talk that's amazing. 2 TED Talks. She's wonderful. There's a Netflix documentary on her too. So if you have some time, have nothing to do, YouTube Brene Brown and Netflix also, or get her book. So spend some time in gratitude. Deb, in my recovery, I became credible again. To maintain that, I have to be accountable to what I do and say. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I don't want to lose that credibility. I don't want to lose people's trust or faith in me. Meredith, I love Brene Brown. She has a lot of great books. She sure does. She sure does. When I finish the 15, I've half read. I will buy some more of her books. Yeah. But thank you all for being here with me tonight. Thank you for your kind words and your support. Hi, Mom. Love you. I think you called a few days ago and I forgot to call you back. Whoops. I said it out loud, so I have to do it. You guys will keep me accountable. Elena's my mom, just so you guys know, the one without the picture. Creeping to see you. Okay. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Get some rest. In time for the week. I have to do some meal prepping. And I just love and adore each and every one of you. Holly, you're the best. I adore you guys for being here. I adore you guys for picking me up. You guys keep me accountable. That's for sure. So thank you. You made my night. I'm very grateful for you. Take good care of yourselves. Stay safe and be good. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.